Trustee Myers is not with us. His wife has had some surgery. She's in not the best of health. So I'd just like to take a moment for everyone to take a moment of silent prayer. If we would pray for the family. Pray especially for Trustee Myers and a speedy back to health, his wife, Mrs. Myers. Let's just take a moment before we get started. Just so the board knows again, before we get started, we've got a card here for Trustee Myers and for his wife. I'll leave it here if anyone on the board would like to sign it. We've already had staff and some of the employees have already started signing. We're going to get here and sign it. We're also going to open up if there's any residents that would like to sign. If you would, please wait after the board has the opportunity to sign. We'll leave it out here and we'll make sure we get these hand delivered to both Trustee Myers and his wife. So, pass those around if you would. All right. With that said, I ask call the meeting to order. Village Clerk, please call the roll.
Here.
All right. Number 2 is the 2016-2017 budget hearings. We're going to call the hearing to order. And go through the public comments. Or any trustees have anything? Talk about this. All right, hearing none, we'll move to item number 3, public comment. Questions and comments must be directed to the mayor or speaker within 3 minutes. Comment on topics of their choice. Each speaker will be allowed up to speak.
Remember those days. On behalf of Sauk, my first question is this a public hearing for the new budget? It wasn't quite sure from the agenda if we were supposed to bring our question and ask what's going on with the budget, because we weren't quite sure what this agenda is telling us. It says item 2, the budget hearing. What does that mean? Is it for the public to ask questions, or is this a public hearing for the budget? Is this what it is?
It's a public hearing for the budget, so you can ask questions about anything you want. The way we have our comments.
Okay. All right. So, and that gave me a sign. The first question I want to ask about is the aging report. And here you. My first question is about the aging report. I would like to know what's the balance on the aging report at the present time. Since this is not the regular way of doing business, I'd like to answer my question so I can continue.
This is the regular way of business, the way we have it. You've got 3 minutes, so.
This is a public hearing. We're not supposed to be subjected to the same sort of rules. So I want to know, is this a public hearing or is this a regular committee or board meeting? And if this is a public hearing, why were we notified that we don't have 33 minutes to talk? What is the issue? You cannot combine both, either or. Is it a public hearing or is it a regular committee or board meeting? And in fact, this is valid under the Open Meetings Act for us to be restricted to 3 minutes at a public hearing. So I'd like to know, is this a public hearing or is this a regular meeting for the board of the meeting? Can somebody clarify what's going on? Since I'm talking to you, we could ask you to be removed.
You waste a lot of time.
Hey,
Well, you ought to get out of here. You don't want to listen to what I got to say, you can leave.
you have to respond to the mayor. Public, please keep your comments to yourself.
There you go.
So, the time is ticking. You have 3 minutes. We've already said public comments. So, do you have anything else?
I'm asking you, is it a public hearing or is it for a regular board or committee meeting? And you haven't answered me a question. If this is a public hearing, I'd like to know why we weren't given a chance to address the budget at the public hearing. When was the public hearing?
You are up there. You have the opportunity to ask questions. So.
You haven't answered my question, man.
Okay, time's up. Again, I did answer your questions. I did say that item number 2 is the budget hearing. We're into the public and comments.
I'm
We're
here
following.
for the public meetings. I got to ask for, asking the, give my
This is not a debate.
I'm not debating with you. I'm following your direction.
All right, next.
I'm here, I'm on the next one here. I'm here for the public hearing.
One opportunity to speak. Next.
I'm here for the public hearing. Did everybody miss the public hearing?
No.
When did we have the public hearing?
Next.
Well, get your ass up and get out.
No.
Can I get a copy of the budget, please?
When is the public hearing? Did we have one?
Okay, we're going to do this here. We've got the, all right, hang on. I probably should have read this at the beginning. There was no giving a public hearing. We are going to have this meeting for the public to come respond.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
You know what, ma'am? If you would please, if you'd be quiet and listen, you might be able to hear what I'm saying,
You got that.
okay? I pay you as much respect, I expect respect back.
There you go.
If there's not going to be any respect, I'm not going to respond to you at all, okay? Thank you. There was a public notice that went out saying tonight there was going to be a public meeting, public hearing for the people to come, for residents to come respond. It was posted on April 25th. The budget was available online. It was available at the front desk. It was available in the at the library. The postings were all done inside the village board, inside the village hall, the library, both hallways, and on the internet. So the budget has been to the public for how many days, Village Clerk?
Since the 25th of April.
Since 25th of April. So, how many?
Almost 30 days, 20-something days.
Almost 30 days. Also, the public has got the opportunity to put anything in writing. They've had the opportunity to review it and bring their questions and stuff. So, you know, we have this time for the public hearing. We've already had our budget review meetings, and it's been out there for the public to review for almost 30 days. So we're at the point now where the public can come up. They've had almost 30 days to review it. If they have any questions, you can get the questions, we'll write them down. If you have any additional questions that we don't get here, you can put it in writing and present it to the desk, front desk. So, all right. Again, this is not a special meeting. This is being held during committee meetings. So we're following the rules that we're supposed to follow when it comes to public comment. All right. So we'll go next.
Did you say this was a committee meeting?
So we'll go next.
Did you just say that this was a committee meeting and
We
we
are
followed the
having-
regular rules?
We are having the budget hearing. It's already item number 2. We're in item number 3 for people to be able to comment. So next.
Well, I'm still not understanding this, and you asked us.
I will make this very clear. Your time is up. You are to leave the podium and make it available to the next person. All right? You are disturbing this meeting. You are disturbing this meeting, and you're being
Why
disturbed.
aren't you having a public hearing?
So, next, if anyone else has anything, please come up.
Why aren't you having a public meeting for the hearing?
Next.
So I'm not allowed to ask my question. No, I asked it. He hasn't answered me. I want to know why I can't give comments on the budget. This is a committee meeting, so he didn't have a budget hearing. When?
Just not item number 2. So, they had it posted, so.
When did they have a public hearing?
When?
Oh. Pat, come forward.
Excuse me.
There's a bunch of people around here.
I think so.
It's better.
Push the button, is it on?
It's red.
Look like open meetings act to me. Violation of the ban.
Now is it working? It is working. My name is Pat Couch, and since we can address anything that we prefer to address, I would indulge you for a moment. I would like to respond to some negative comments that were put on Facebook by Mr. Joe Wizawati. I'm to the point, after 2 years of this going on, and the nonsense and the negativity and the nastiness has got to stop. And if Mr. Wisawati doesn't want to stop, he is costing this village many, many thousands of dollars because he does not want to stop his programming of negativity. The question that has been asked numerous times, where did the money come from? Where did the money go? For the record, I paid for that trip to Washington. Mr. Wisawati had that information long ago. He has a copy of my credit card statement. So if there's any questions about who paid for this trip, ask to see the documents. Where has Mr. Wisawati posted the true and proper information? Because he wants to keep costing this village money by demanding, I want more, I want more, I want more. There is no more. He has cost this village many thousands of dollars because he wasn't satisfied with the answers that he got. He had the documents, I paid for it, I was paid back the money that was paid on my credit card for that trip to Washington, and all the money that they said was spent was a lie because it was never spent, period. We did not have any money spent on food. The money was provided, or the dinners were provided at the Building 1 America conference. Our rooms were paid for and comped, if you would call it that, by Building 1 America. So ask the question of Mr. Wisawati, where did the money go? And why did he keep demanding when there was nothing there to demand? He is the one that kept bringing up issues that were already answered to him, therefore it had to go to an attorney. Be smart, people. Read between his lines. The lies were there. Read it. If you have questions, I would be happy to answer them because I paid for that trip on my credit card. I was reimbursed by Trustee Williams and Clerk Williams. He had those documents from day one, practically, and who likes to give out their personal credit card statement? I gave it to the Attorney General. Thank you. Ask questions.
Open Meetings Act violation.
Next.
The Open Meetings Act violation.
Rose Langston. I just want to remind the Sauk Village seniors that we do have this meal on Saturday, May 21st, 3 p.m. We are getting things, I know it was a last minute thing. We do want, I can't take any of the applications if anybody is interested. We have, in fact, if there's any question about how much money is spent, one of our members has already told me everything that she's going to be providing, she doesn't want to be reimbursed. That's what you call a true volunteer and a true Sauk villager. Thank you.
That's 3 to 5, right? 3 to 5 p.m.?
3 to 5 p.m.? Yes. 3
Okay.
to 5 p.m.
Thank you. All right, next.
Judy Cast here. I too would like to know about the aging report and if it's included on the budget. You didn't answer that question, so I'd like to know that question. Secondly, I did not get an appropriate answer when I asked before, so I will ask it again. You have known, as many years as I have known, that there is mold in the police station. And as of January, they now have asbestos. And I noted that there is something on the budget for Parks and Recs to work with their asbestos, but you have absolutely nothing on the police budget. And I know that Chief Kowalski does his budget supposedly, but inasmuch as Trustee Jones did not incorporate the asbestos on his budget, that the mayor did it, then I was wondering why the mayor doesn't do it for the police department. At least get a consensus of what the cost would be to get the mold as well as the asbestos taken care of. And more so for the police department, since we've lost 2 lives over there and due to cancer, and we have a third that is still fighting the battle. And I think it's extremely important that we get some advice as to what to do to take care of the matter, at least the steps that we need to take to get it in order. That's it.
All right. I'll try to speak up as much as possible. I'm pretty much losing my voice, but the aging report is not part of this budget. You have to remember that when this budget's done, this is a budget that's going forward to the next year. So some things we've talked about is the village still has money owed to them off of what was spent last year. Okay, so if you start adding up, the state of Illinois owes the village about $300,000. Okay, the water funds are about what, $250,000 on unpaid water bills. We've got approximately, is it $100,000 or $200,000 on unpaid tickets and fines and fees. So if you take the amount of money that Sauk Village still has coming to them, that makes up for what we still owe. Okay, so there's money that's still owed Sauk Village that goes paying this. When you look at the budget is going forward. That's what you budget. You don't take what was already budgeted. You don't take last year's stuff and add it to this year's budget. That's the way the municipal audit is done. That's the way the municipal budget is set up. Okay. When it comes to the mold and the asbestos and stuff, we're having people take a look at what needs to be done. So we are looking at that. The asbestos, you have to remember, that's something that when you start to, you can have asbestos laying on the ground, it's not going to do anything. It's when it starts getting in the air, it starts getting into a dust form, that's when you start to see you have to you can either cover it up or you can remove it, and there's a lot more work that has to be done, especially remove, because once they start removing tiles and they start removing it, it becomes a dust form. So the Parks and Recs is more important. We have a lot of kids there. So as soon as it brought to our attention that some of the tiles on the floor had popped up, we went off and we closed that room. We had a test to see what was in there. We found out, and anyone that lives in any homes in Sauk Village, especially the older homes, you'll know that if you have tile and stuff in your kitchen, when you have a piece of tile pop up, you see that black adhesive. Back then they had asbestos inside that adhesive. So when we found out that we had some tiles popped up in Parks and Recs, we had the room closed off, we had it locked up, and they covered the area, I think, with plastic or some type of heavy stuff, so there's no way it can even escape. So when we look at stuff like that. So again, the Parks and Recs building is important because we have a lot of activities and things like that. We do have Jim, our engineer, Jim Zarnick. They're looking at both the police department and the public works department. So we'll find out what it costs if we have to come back. But again, we do have some funds in buildings and grounds that we'll see, what's it going to cost for the police department. But again, when you bring up mold, it's been there since I was a cadet. So, and that was back in the 80s. The thing about the mold growing on the walls in the police department is it just needs to be cleaned. So we'll take a look and see what the engineering group says about that. So, all right.
How you doing? I'm new to the Sauk Village community. I'm new to the Sauk Village community. My name is Jazzy Smith. Actually, my good friend resides over in Candlelight, and we're having an issue with the water. I was told this is where I could come to address the concerns about the water, and the concern is that he's being billed for water that has not been used by Candlelight. We were told through Candlelight that you bill them as an entity, and they bill everybody else, but I I don't feel that people should be drinkable water. You know, he spends about, you know, maybe a good $20 to $40 a month on bottled water in addition to these $60 bills and you know, they're billing for services that we're not using. What is to be done about that, and how do we get just a bill for what we're actually using? You know, ComEd, they bill for the service that you actually use. So I just want to know, how does this water system works around here, and what is the quality of the water here?
Is that all you have? Is that all you have?
I have another issue too, but
Okay.
we're going to address this one at this
You
time.
have 3 minutes, so if you have something else.
Okay, go
Go ahead.
Oh, my other question is, in regards to the playground over in Candlelight, I know that's, private, property. I was looking into, I met you during, summer over there, and I was stating that, you know, the community needs, a new playground, and I would like to know if, is there someone here that we could partner with? I've, pulled up a proposal from Kaboom, to, you know, for a playground for the community that is, you know, badly needed over there. So I want to know, who can I talk to about, you know, possibly, you know, helping to get a new playground for the kids. You know, it's summertime, you know, kids need stuff to do. So those are my two issues.
All right, perfect timing. Time just ended. You live in Candlelight Village. Candlelight Village is kind of a special situation because it is private property. Candlelight Village receives water from Sauk Village. However, there's a meter where the water goes in. Candlelight Village bills their residents inside that area. So what you're going to have to do is deal with Candlelight Village on your water billing. Okay. The same thing is when it comes to playgrounds. It is private property. That playground belongs to Candlelight Village. I know that they're, I can't remember, my mind just went blank of the company that owns Candlelight Village. But, what's that? Sun Community. Thank you very much. What you need to do is, I would encourage you to get some residents to maybe put something together asking them to either upgrade your park or put in a new park. But again, when we talk about, we have a couple areas in Sauk Village that are a little bit different. You have Candlelight Village, where all those homes are in their own community. It's all private property. Weatherstone is the same way. That's all private property. They receive the same thing. The water goes up to their property, and as it goes through, it runs through. They bill all their residents also. So, but that's again.
You can't give a clear-cut answer.
Excuse me, Madam, your time is up. You had one opportunity to speak. You had 3 minutes. So I respond to these questions as best as I can. If you want to come and talk to me after the meeting, that'd be welcome.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Larry Stewart, Sauk Village. First, I want to congratulate Sauk Village on their recommendation. What was that? Crime is down in Sauk Village, 58%. Wait a minute. It's down in Sauk Village, 58%. It's up in City Hall, 100. You know, I like the way things are being addressed sort of sideways. The other issue, the lady, water. Water's supposedly bad in Sauk Village. I've never known that because I drink it from the faucet. But that's a whole different thing. Please, give me a break. The other issue is the playgrounds the lady addressed. Our school district is putting up money to bring in playgrounds. Take notice. We got, I think, 3 playgrounds coming in. I'm disappointed that Sauk Village doesn't have it to where we're transparent. We're not transparent at all. We got some people that support lack of it. They actually support it. Don't need to know. They know who they are. Because we don't know. But I don't understand that. How they can be so self to where they'll support something that doesn't benefit the village. It's not. Things aren't really moving along as you would think. There are cultural wars. Actually, not just in the village, in City Hall. I mean, my gosh, I got 3 elected officials that I don't see having a say. Don't have a say at all. But as long as we got 3 that's going along with one person, that's a plus. Better stop it. Don't look good for election time, and there will be an election. Thank you, Wayne. That's all I got to say.
Thank you very much for the response on this. Thank you, Larry, for bringing it to our attention, because crime is down 57%. That's January through April. That's year on year. That's between 2015, January to April. And if you look at January to April 2016, crime has decreased by 57%. We've got the numbers to prove it. A lot of that goes to kudos to the Sauk Village Police Department under the direction of Chief Kowalski, who's in back. Thank you very much. I tell you what, he's come with a lot of experience, a lot of expertise. He comes with all his years of experience, and he's brought that to Sauk Village, and that's what we needed. So we know we're getting headed into some of the worst times of our year. So I know he's out there. You know, again, when I ran for mayor, I said we were going to put a emphasis on fighting crime. And since we brought Chief Kowalski on, we've seen crime continue to decrease. We've seen police officers on the streets. We hear a lot of residents, they're happy about seeing the police officers. We talk to our businesses monthly, and they talk about they see the police officers more than they ever have in the past. It's because we've got a good leader that's directing them on what to do and getting out there. So Larry, thank you for bringing that to our attention. And again, kudos to the Sauk Village police officers, the men and women who are out there, and the chief, thank you very much. Talk about transparency. I tell you, we've got a lot of information we're putting out on transparency. We're trying to make sure that, you know, we went longer with the budget being present for the residents to see. We went almost 30 days instead of 10 days or whatever it is, 10 or 11, 12 days that we have to. We went almost triple the amount of time so people could get out there and take a look at the budget. We've had meetings. I've had me meet the mayor. We put stuff out, letting residents know about what we're doing in this budget. Is it perfect? Nothing's ever perfect, I'll be honest with you. But you know what? You know, this is the first year in how many years that we've got capital expenditures inside this budget. This is the first year in how many years that we're going back and hiring individuals for our police department again. So we put more police officers on the street to continue to combat crime, so that more public works employees, so we can get out there and get the grass cut, and continue working on getting water main breaks fixed, continue working on getting street lights, continue to cut down trees, continue just to get out there and replace fire hydrants. You know, so you know there's a lot of work that needs to be done. You know, and again, a lot of things that we've inherited. We've continued to bring our aging report down, which has already been talked about. You think about when I became mayor, the aging report was $1.9 million. You know, when we last reported, it was right around about $500,000, a little bit over. So, you know, that's what, $1.4 million we paid off in the last 3 years. You know, we're going to continue to go after the aging report. We've also proven that the money that's still owed to Sauk Village would pay off that aging report, and we would not be in a deficit, but we'd be in a surplus. So to get people to pay their bills. And thanks to JW and the team over here in the office, they're going after people to pay their bills. We've got thanks to Trustee Myers for the debt recovery system, going after people who haven't paid their tickets. We're seeing tickets now start to get paid. People are coming in complaining because they got their income tax and found out it was less than what they thought they were going to get. And they wanted to say, why does this money go to Sauk Village? Because you owed it. JW's out there, we're working with Public Works Department, we're turning people's water off because they're not paying their bills, they're coming in either they're trying to work something out or they're coming in and paying their water bill. You know what? That affects you, the residents of Sauk Village. And that's what allows us to pay our bills. So, you know, we've got some great teams here. We were excited about moving forward, which we are moving forward. You know, we talked about last week. You know, you think about some of the things that people said whenever we'd have empty buildings with the Ace Hardware gone. We got beauty supply store there now. So people said the restaurant on the corner of 394 and Sauk Trail would never open again. It's open. You know, we've got other businesses reaching out to Sauk Village. JW met with a group of individuals this last week looking to open up a business here in Sauk Village. You know, we're talking to businesses to get them to come into our community and provide something, a service or a product for the residents of Sauk Village. We put a big push on shopping here in Sauk Village, big push on getting out there and filling those empty stores. So, you know, there is things moving, and you know, we've got some major hurdles this year, and we're going to continue fighting those hurdles. You know, crime, number one, crime has been top of my priority. Crime is going to continue being top of my priority. You know, we're going to go off and we're going to tackle grass. I tell you what, you're going to look very far to see grass has grown fast. I've had my yard mowed 3 times already this year, and before I came here today, it looks like it needs to be mowed again. So with the sun, the heat, the rain, the cold, the rain, you know, the grass is growing fast. We're seeing dandelions pop up, and we're going to go off. We're going to start attacking these vacant properties that have high grass. So there's a lot we have to do. There's a lot we're excited about doing, and there's a lot of challenges that we're facing, and we're going to continue to face those challenges as we continue to move forward. All right, thank you very much. Next.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, are you saying that this is not the public hearing for the budget? And I only have 3 minutes to speak. I want to be very clear about what is being expected and what is being required.
You have 3 minutes.
Yeah, is this the public hearing for the budget, sir? Was my first part of my question.
We have the budget hearing on the air, and you've got 3 minutes to ask anything you want.
I have 3 minutes for the budget hearing.
Time starting now.
Thank you. I will make sure I send that to the state's attorney. Matter of fact, I'll go out and call him now because you are illegally taking over our rights. For public hearing, I have the ability to ask any question I want to the proposed budget that you presented to the public. And I tell you now, I have more than 3 minutes. Matter of fact, I have an hour's worth because the budget that you projected in this 14 pages that you presented to the citizens of Sauk Village is ridiculous. And I really think you undergirded the citizens when you did not give us the opportunity to stand here and give you what we are concerned about. First of all, this budget deficit that we have is enormous, and it is disrespectful to everyone that pays taxes in this town. If you want to get to the numbers, we can get to that, sir. But to stand here and tell me that I only have 3 minutes for a budget that you presented that has 14 full pages, and the law says that I can address any part of this budget that I want to, you will not deny me my right to speak today or any other day. The law is very clear, and you know it, and you've been in that position long enough to know that. You was a trustee, and you know that. So, let's get started. And I'm on page 1, sir, of your 14-page of proposed budget, starting with your general fund revenue, starting with property taxes, corporate. When you look at what you presented last year in your budget, compared to what you say you did this current year, line number 1 of your budget is you show a total of $92,802 worth of shortage. So, since your final proposal for this year is $1,218.78, why? Where's the money coming from? You tell me. It's in your revenue. Is that because of the 10% increase that your previous board voted on, that we now going to have to pay in next year's taxes, which is now going to be 10% across the board for everybody?
Right.
That's just on your line number 1, sir.
10 seconds.
You can 10 seconds all you want. I'll be here. Go get your police department, get whoever you need, because I'm calling the state's attorney once you walk me out the door.
Your time's up. All right.
Thank you.
You, again, this budget's been out for over 30 days.
And we have a right to speak as the public. We have a right to speak. Your sign on the front of the building says it's a public hearing for your budget. On your website, you said it's a public hearing for your budget. So now you're gonna sit here and tell me you lied?
Is there anyone else that has anything?
Did you lie?
Oh.
Did you lie? Because that's what you publicize.
Anyone else?
Sound like a lie to me.
Did you lie? And you put it in writing as a lie.
All right.
And your clerk publicized it as a lie.
Ma'am, you are disturbing this meeting now. You've had your 3 minutes.
You
So-
disturbing the meeting.
You disturbed me because you didn't give me my hearing. You did not give the public a hearing. You do not limit it no 3 minutes for a public hearing that has to do with how you're gonna spend the public's money, and you know
I
better.
am asking you to please leave the podium. If there's no one else,
I'll leave your podium.
so. All right, move to miscellaneous business, comments from trustees. Trustee Williams. Trustee Burgess.
Tomorrow. Town hall meeting tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Everybody hear me? Town hall meeting tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Did everybody hear me? Can you?
I hear.
All right. You heard. It doesn't work.
What is your take on this budget here?
All right, trustee Tate. Yes, I do. That's all I have.
Okay, town hall meeting tomorrow at 7 o'clock, same thing.
What is your take on the budget here?
Trustee Tate.
I'm not discussing that, Ralph. The mayor's, this is his meeting.
Trustee Tate.
This is miscellaneous business for trustees. I think we all are somewhat concerned that we have a shortage of police officers in Sauk Village. As far as I'm concerned, I think there's some concern about the crime in Sauk Village. And I think
This is Francine Anderson. I'm calling from the Sauk Village Board meeting where the mayor has denied us our right to a budget hearing. The state attorney's number, and I am standing here in front of the mayor who has denied every citizen.
Ms. Anderson, you are disturbing this
hearing.
village board meeting, so please.
Yes, I am, sir.
Please, Ms. Anderson, I'm asking you to please sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Anderson.
Now,
You're disturbing.
unless he's on the phone. Record it, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, trustee
Yeah, I'm
Tate.
here. Can you talk a little louder, sir? Thank you. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I can walk. Don't touch me, though. I can walk. Don't touch me. I can walk.
Trustee Tate. Ma'am, the questions and comments are.
I told you I have that information.
Questions and comments are overweight. Go ahead, trustee Tate.
as I was saying, the need or perceived need of police officers in Sauk Village has existed for a while. And I think we should utilize our police officers so they can do their job to the best of their ability and as safely as possible. I attended a Public Works Committee meeting last week, here, matter of fact, and the meeting was over at approximately 10 after 9 p.m. And we were greeted with the police officer when we left the building. And he stated he had been dispatched to this location because 2 cars were parked illegally in the handicapped parking space at 9 p.m. Now the law doesn't state that you could do it after 9 p.m. But here's the issue. We had a police officer taken off the street doing his job to come and look at 2 cars which were parked in handicapped spaces, allegedly illegally. Now, he talked to some of the people at the meeting. I was not involved in that conversation, so I don't know what they told him or vice versa. But I do know that he looked at the vehicles and found out they had decals which permitted them to park in those spaces. So, we have a village resident that thought it was more important to take a police officer off his patrols, protecting the citizens of Sauk Village, to to look at 2 vehicles in handicapped parking spaces. What are our priorities? Or is it about 2 vehicles allegedly parked illegally? And I don't know who made the call. And police chief, I'm sure you could find out if you want to know who made that call, because your officer was dispatched to this location. So that's not hard to find out. Excuse me? Excuse me?
No, hey.
Get control of your audience. Really? We talked about decorum, and it has not been shown by anyone. Now, for the individual that decide to call Sauk Village Police to come up here at 9 o'clock at night off of his patrol to look at parked vehicles, I think is a travesty, an absolute travesty. And I defy him or her to tell me that they were justified. And I don't care who it is, it doesn't matter to me. Tell me you were justified in wasting our tax dollars, our manpower, instead of protecting residents. He's looking at parked vehicles. Second item, we had a housing and IGRC committee meeting the next evening on Thursday. And that meeting is with 2 trustees, per the mayor's orders. The 2 trustees meet. Trustee Burgess and I, and I hope you're not afraid I'm using your name, Trustee Burgess and I decided to go in the back room because there were 2 groups out here, 2 groups of at least 8 to 9 people. So there was no way 3 meetings were going to be held simultaneously and anyone understand anything that their group is saying. So we went to the back room. All of a sudden the mayor gets a call and he shows up at Village Hall and he burst in through the rear door and tells us we should be having an open meeting. Well, it was an open meeting. No one was denied admission to that room. No one was denied. And we had people that came for that particular meeting that started out here and came back there. I think it's just totally ridiculous that snitches have to call the mayor to get him out of his bed to come up here to tell us we're violating the Open Meetings Act. And I want someone to please file a complaint that we violated the Open Meetings Act. Please file that complaint. And I don't care who files it, who signs it, I don't care. Because when we're trying to do village business, and village residents are allowed to participate and ask their questions after we have a public comment section on our agenda also, how is that a denial of access to anyone? Was the door closed? Yes, it was closed. With 18 people talking at the same time, try having 18 people in your living room talking at the same time. We were back there so we could conduct our business and not interfere with the 2 groups. So if you don't like it, shut up. I do not care. Yes, that's what I said. Shake your head. That's exactly what I said.
All right.
That's a good emotional advice to have in general, is to, you're talking about snitches and people calling and Open Meetings Act violations and everything like that. People are just trying to conduct business. I think that we need to just let it go as a community.
Yep.
In your meeting, in your case, if we're saying that agendas aren't being posted on time, which in every single case there's video footage that says that they are being posted on time, online, at the library, in here, they're here. But every time somebody gets a little knot in their hair or knot in their britches, then we run to the state attorney. We run to the attorney general. We run to whoever we can run to point fingers. And what is it doing? It's halting process. It's halting progress. You had a meeting with Trustee Burgess. You couldn't hear. You went into a place where you could hear. Like you said, anybody could have came in at that time. Anybody who thinks that that's a violation of the Open Meetings Act, like Trustee Tate said, call about it. But aren't being posted on time and we're not doing things right, think about it. All you're doing is stopping progress. You're making the employees here research for FOIAs, which costs us money. You're making us reach out to our attorneys, which costs us money. You're making us do all these different things, and the only thing it's doing is halting progress. There's no point. It's petty. In my opinion, it's petty. Whoever called and did that, I think is petty. To call and say that there's a closed door meeting, they should have tried to walk in the door first, okay? To see if you kicked them out at that point, that would be a violation. That's something different. I wasn't here. I don't know what happened. But I mean, seriously, I think in general, we as a community should stop trying to look for reasons as using your term, snitch on people. We're not in 4th grade, seriously. It's absolutely ridiculous to take the time to call Gerald every single time and say, look at the footage. Do you see me going from out of the little door, going to the right, putting up the agenda, walking through the door, go to the other side, putting up the agenda. What time did I email you? What time did I email the library? It's dumb. The agendas are online, just like the budget was. The agendas are at the library, just like the budget was. The agendas are available here, just like the budget was. We need to stop being so petty. And that
when was the public hearing?
Everybody. You need to stop. It's not doing anything. It's really not. It's just making us look like 4th graders, in my personal opinion. I don't call the Attorney General on any money. I've had the Attorney General call on me many times. I've had my information pointed, and every single time it's been presented, give rep, go, here you go, because I have nothing to hide. I haven't been a trustee for 11 and a half years with something to hide. Seriously, it's not that serious, people. We're not in the federal cabinets, okay? We're not making the laws for the United States of America. We're not on the front line fighting for the Army. We are trying to conduct business, and I think that everybody needs to act that way because it's petty. It really is. It's just petty.
All right, just so we know that, first of all, there was other meetings going on that night. I was here for the senior meeting. Did I find you behind a closed door meeting? Yes, I did. I didn't make a big deal about it. I didn't contact the state's attorney's office. What? Trustee, I let you talk. And number one, I didn't burst in. You admitted already that yes, the door was closed. Okay, so it's a closed door meeting. So again, I didn't come bursting in. I came in and to see what was going on. I informed the trustees. In fact, I found out first of all what meeting they were having. I informed them that you follow underneath the Open Meetings Act, which it makes it very clear that during the Open Meetings Act you have to make sure it's available to the public. There is other areas where you've had your meetings before. There's other conference rooms that are available. So again, I think coming out of your own mouth that you were in a room where the door was closed, that's a closed door meeting. If we close that door back there, it's considered a closed door meeting. You have to have the doors open. The public was not allowed to participate inside your meetings. So again, you brought it up, and no, I am telling the truth. And just so we make sure we're clear, since all the trustees are here, except for one, that when you have a meeting, first of all, your committee meetings are open to the public. You have to have the doors open. You have to make sure that it's available for the public to be at. If they want to videotape, they're allowed to videotape. If they want to sit inside your meetings, they're allowed. You have to have it open. You have to make sure you have an agenda. You have to follow the agenda, and you cannot alter from the agenda at all. Okay? Your subcommittees are the same thing. Your subcommittees have to be available to the public, and have to make sure you have agendas. You have to make sure you keep minutes. So again, I didn't bring this up. You brought it up. So again, I think it's good that we make sure it's in the open, that it is truthful. So it is truthful, trustee. You admitted being behind a closed door. You had a closed door meeting. You were in a closed door, so. All right. I don't have to go to Attorney General. I'm making sure that it's in the public that you have to, so.
Mr. Mayor.
So.
I'm sorry, I was there. First of all, you did come in and state that we're having a violation for Open Meetings Act, and the door was closed. Those doors have been closed upon times when there was a loud noise outside and we were conducting meetings here. Those doors were closed when it was cold in here, and we were trying to keep it warm, and that was one of the reasons that we closed it. So to say, the reason, Mayor, that it was called, the reason you were called, the reason why you came in is because your photographer couldn't take pictures, videos of both meetings. That's the only thing, because he came in to take his pictures. I have no problem. Matter of fact, I had my meeting to do the day before for Public Works. He came right in, took his videos. I have no problem with that because the meeting is open. We split up because there was some things that we needed to discuss. Like you told us many times, we don't have to have our subcommittee when we talk. As long as we're talking, because you made the committees. Our committee, see someone get ready to close the door now. Our committees are for just the 2 trustees. The 2 trustees makes up the committee. The subcommittee are residents. We needed to have a resident meeting, and that's what they were conducting right out here. There was housing over there, so where were we gonna sit? So we took upon us, everyone knew where we went. Then we went in the back so we could talk, so we can discuss what we needed to bring up after they got through. You came in and stated that it was a violation. The reason the door was closed, because I'm sure you walked in and saw both people. Why would I try to talk, because I do talk loud, and disrupt the 2 meetings that are going on? Had you asked that question, I would have said that would have been the thing, but you said we're in violation, and yes, you did walk. You didn't knock on the door. You just opened the door. I guess you were looking to see was it locked, and it wasn't locked. So I'm saying
it was an open or closed door meeting?
It was not a closed. The door was closed because other meetings, out of courtesy, other meetings were going on. It had been something. We sat in the back there, and we started discussing, and we got a little loud. Now we would disrupt the meetings that are going on. That was all. It was nothing said. And I'm sure, we have to stop. We have to stop this. You arrested, or you escorted a resident outside because they're trying to speak their mind. This is the First Amendment right. Now, you stated that you didn't want to have the three minutes. I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm a little tired now, because now you're telling the residents, this is what you want and this is the way it'll be. Without saying, hey, because last year and every year before this year, you had the hearings, and we were in here for an hour and a half. Matter of fact, one of the people got up and talked for about an hour and a half, line by line. That's what a hearing is all about. There is no time limit on a hearing. Now, if you're having a meeting, yes, you are. If you have a committee meeting, you do. But a hearing gives a person a chance. That's why you have a hearing, to give a person a chance to ask questions and answer, not to sit and write out. I've been to that write out part before, where I write things out, presented it to you, and it still didn't make a difference. This is the time, at least I thought, for the last 10 and a half years since I've been a trustee, that you can come and express your opinion on how we're going to spend your money.
That's right.
That's all that is. Now, you can go along with it, and we all know that it's going to come down to a vote, but not give the courtesy of a resident who pays taxes. Right. Everybody in here pays taxes.
That's right.
To at least ask questions about where the money is being spent. That's right. I think it's a travesty. It is not about accolades, it's about a fact. If I'm giving you $10,000 a year and the village gets 25% of that, then I want to know where my money's going.
There you go.
That's all that is. You can tell them whatever, at least you answer. But not to give them a chance to ask that question and tell them they got 3 minutes. It takes longer than 3 minutes to read the first 2 pages. So yes, they had time to go over this. Yes, they did. They had time to go over this. They had a month. So now you're telling them, not only do they have a chance, they had a month to go over this, now they got to write a essay on what it is that they have a problem with and wait for an answer. We got to do better than this, man. We have to. We're talking about trying to bring this community together. That's the vision. That's all that is. They pay taxes just like everybody else. Let them ask their questions. That's the least we can do as public servants. We were elected by them, not by anybody, by the people. They ask a question, what's wrong with this? Is what budget hearings are. Yes, you're gonna have back and forth, yes. We don't have a budget in Illinois. Right now, there is no budget. Wonder why. So, but you have to have a chance. Give them a chance to do that, Mayor. That's it, I'm through.
Trustee Johnson.
Summer camp registration this Saturday, in the community center from noon to 2 p.m. Any volunteers, that'll be a perfect time to show up. There'll be applications for volunteers too. Thank you.
Trustee Washington.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I just want to say that we had our neighborhood watch as usual at the fire station. Monday, we had a very good meeting in preparation for our upcoming Junior Neighborhood Watch for our summer program. If you know any young people in grades 6 through 12 that you think would be good for our Junior Neighborhood Watch program, you can let them know that we will be having our first meeting the second Monday in June. We also have flyers about that in the back. Also, I just wanted to talk about the flyer that we have out. It's also in the Sauk talk about the Human Relations Commission and the picnic that we're going to be hosting. If you haven't had a chance to see the flyers, Commissioner Williams, would you raise your hand? He has them in the back, and we're looking for young people to get involved. Another opportunity to get them off the streets, youth ages 13 to 19 years old. The Human Relations Commissioners are getting together to host that picnic. And if you have any questions or concerns, any young people you think that will want to come and participate, it's going to be a talent show. It's going to be poetry. It's going to be clean rap. Job opportunities are going to be there. You can see Commissioner Frank Williams. We can talk about anything right there. Yeah? Okay. I wanted to bring a packet to the board. Your names are on them. Been doing a little research about economic development, trying to just get some businesses to come to the village, trying to get some jobs, trying to get some of these vacant properties in these plazas filled. I know that they have to come to the committee of the whole and present to us as a board, so just doing some research. Your names are on them. You can just pass them around. I'm not gonna insult your intelligence by going through all this tonight. You can take it home and look through it. But we also have, I received a letter. The very first page went on our website where it's talking about economic development. That first sentence is what we're dealing with. For the residents that may not know, it's Sauk Village Economic Development purposes to promote the growth of Sauk Village. In the package, you'll also find where different municipalities that have fire sprinklers. I received a letter from the Northern Illinois Fire Sprinkler Advisory Board. If you look in that part of the package, you'll see a letter from our President Barack Obama talking about adopt up-to-date building codes. And it's a letter here with Riverdale, a letter from Country Club Hills, a letter from Blue Island, a letter with the village of Matson, and they're talking about these fire sprinklers and the advantages that they have had and their insurance going down. So that's just some information that you can read through. But the economic development, attract new companies and growth, and grow your tax base, all of that information, strategies for small town success, promoting economic prosperity and improve quality of life for small communities. Like I said, I'm not gonna read through any of this, but there's some grant information in here, how we can all get together and possibly write a grant so that we can bring grant money to different programs that we wanna have in the village. I was really interested in the transferring money from an enterprise fund. They're talking about how you can do that from the water fund, sewer fund, different funds that you have, different other municipalities that go through that. Pioneer, I called them, they were very instrumental in talking about that enterprise fund accounting system. So as you see, there's a lot of good things in here. I want to ask the mayor and some of the trustees, particularly Trustee Williams, Trustee Burgess, this last page, bills effective January 1, 2014, Sauk Village. This was on the website. If when you do look through your packet, would you let me know if this affects Sauk Village? Some of these bills, it's on the last packet. It is pretty thick, but it didn't have a lot of info under these different bills that went into effect. So at your opportunity, you can get back with me and let me know, but I'm trying to get the board to collaborate or possibly get some grant money and also get some developers to come in so we can get some stores and some businesses. That concludes my report.
All righty. Lastly, again, when we started off the meeting, or before we started the meeting, we talked about Trustee Meyer's wife. If you would please keep her in your prayers. And then in closing, just the budget review and stuff. You know, a lot of people. We had the budget hearing tonight. We went through everything. We did open the floor for comments about the budget. There's also, if you have any questions or comments, you can feel free to put anything in writing. You can come back. You know, again, I have an open door policy. You know, come up here at night and meet with me. I do a full-time job, but you know, we went through a budget review back early April, middle of April. There was questions and comments from the public then, opportunity. We had a budget hearing tonight. There was opportunity for questions and comments from the public tonight. It will be on next week's agenda on the 24th. Before it gets voted on, the public will be able to have opportunity to make comments, and then there will be public comment before it's voted on that night. The other thing is talking about how we went over and above almost 3 times longer than what it needed to be out there for the public to review. Not one person came with any questions, comments. Nothing has been brought to the front desk. Again, it's been out there on the internet, it's been on the library, it's been out here, making sure that it was available for the public to review. And I know Mohan and JW is here every day. Not one thing came to the office asking any questions or asking for any explanation. So we have had it out there. So you just want to make sure that we make sure it's very clear. And then next on 24th. Yes. So it'll be on the agenda. The other thing too is, just so the board knows, I talked to Trustee Jones right before the meeting. I received a call from Respond Now. Said they received a letter from Trustee Jones and Parks and Recs. I talked to Trustee Washington also, since you both sit on that committee. Respond Now was told that they were going to have to close down over the summer months. Just so this board understands, and I've already talked to both trustees, I'm totally against this. Number one, if we lose Respond Now, if they have to close down, they're not going to come back. Number two, Respond Now has been out here working for the residents of Sauk Village for 8 years now. Respond Now has always worked around any activities and functions that the Parks and Recs were having, changing their hours, changing their days, whatever needs to be done. So I would expect both trustees to work together and work with Respond Now. Respond Now helps anywhere from 150 to 200 families every single month. So this is something that we cannot lose. And I expect for the 2 trustees to put your heads together. I know Village Clerk Williams reached out to Trustee Jones, seeing if we could change the days of the week when they provide services to village residents, or if we could change the hours. And I expect that will be taken care of. I'll give Respond Now a call tomorrow and let them know to reach back out to Trustee Jones and Trustee Washington, and that something will be worked out. This is a service that we do not want to lose for our residents, especially those that are in need. And so I expect something to be worked out through Parks and Rec so we don't lose this service for village residents. All right, with that said, I ask for a motion to adjourn. That motion, is there a second? All in favor, say aye. Meeting adjourned.